So, Mitch, as far as playmakers concerned, you've had more success against Penrith than just about anyone else in the last few seasons. How do you beat them?
Yeah, not so much in the big games, but during the year we've had a bit of success against them. So I'm not really sure. I think just every time that we verse Penrith, we just get up for it. It's just that Battle of the West game, and anytime you can get it over, and we try to. And they've beat us in the bigger games, but you know we've had some luck against them during the year. But I feel like if you can nullify their back five and take that out of the game and just kick long into the corners, I feel like that it takes you a long way into going to beat them.
The thing in it, like the Melbourne in the last 10, 15 years have been the kings of the grind, of the arm wrestle. But my feeling is, like when I look at the two packs, if Melbourne go into this game and just go, right, we're just going to make it an arm wrestle through the middle, they won't win.
Yeah, I agree. They got off to a good start last time at Penrith. They scored first. Their try came off shifting the ball out of their own yardage. They did a kick, little thing in time Pierce scored. So I think that's one thing you got to do is shift out of your own end. But then you've got to hold on to the footy. You can't turn the ball over. And then the kicking game that Mitch spoke about is nullifying the back five because they will run for 200 metres. But you've got to make them sure that 200 metres most of the time coming off their own end, not at the 40-metre line.
And it's away from toe. I think if you can take the ball away from him as much as possible out of the backfield, I do know that they do get the ball to him pretty good, but I mean, it gives you defence a bit of a straight line against him. And
so you'd kick to Taruva?
Kick to Taruva.
I'd force Totter to come in off one pass wider and then that way.
And then at least you've got a straight line and you can get up and take some time. It's very hard to take him out of the game. He'll still probably run for 250 metres, but it's probably less impact.
Yeah, like you said, you want the 200 metres in his worst corner than in the middle of the field.
Jesus, I tell you what, sound like they're hard to beat.
Well, at least we've got someone talking sense on this podcast for the first time. You and I just
why don't we invite him along, mate? In recording this, Cleary's gone to... he went to the hospital, jarred finger. We don't know. As recording
went
this,
to the hospital for a jarred finger?
For jarred finger.
OK.
We don't know if there's any doubt. I mean, I imagine he'd play, but, geez, from a Melbourne point of view, that'd be a blessing.
If he doesn't play. Yeah, and then you've got the Luai conundrum too. Does he play? Doesn't he play? But Nathan's playing, all right? This guy's played with a busted shoulder.
Yeah, he'll play.
He's playing. I don't care what's happened to his finger. He's in. The bigger question is Luai. Like, has he had enough time to rehab a pop shoulder?
Well, if you're bellyache, righto, and you're looking and going right across this side, I reckon if I'm Craig, I want Luai playing.
Big time.
Because I said, righto, we're just going to run at that shoulder.
Yeah.
Non-stop. It's a target for us.
You don't get too many cracks in the best defensive team for the last 4 years, and when you find one, geez, you better take advantage of it. So, yep, I would. It's a mission for someone like Nelson or Sofa Solomona. Just park him literally in front of him, and when you're getting the good ball and say good luck.
It'll be the impact that he has around defensively. So his back rower and centre there on that edge, they'll be wanting to help him out as much as possible because you know what's happened. Like, it's a big injury, and to come back from that, he's going to put a lot of stress under his outside man and inside him. So I feel like that'll be very good for him.
Question without notice, boys. Right. Let's imagine you go into a grand final, busted finger. You're going to miss the grand final, or you chop it off. Of course,
Which finger?
David, mate, your main one, the good one. Because David Gillespie, Simek Gillespie, that happened to him. He got it jammed in a garbage truck when he was working there, and it was so, do I play the grand final? He said, I just cut it off.
I got no idea.
I'd cut it off.
Absolutely. What's the matter with you, soft bastard?
They leave these little things working for me.
Oh, mate. I tell you what, on Nathan, what about his performance against the Warriors?
Yeah.
That was one of the best from any player this year.
He's just such a classy player, and you can see the difference he makes when he plays in that team, and he just straightens it. He just competes on everything. Like, he was just competing. That time when he fell down on the ground, got back up to set up that try, and I feel like from that moment on, they just went on with the game and they just took it away from him.
How do you stop him? All right, let's put you in his shoes. Like, as a halfback, what don't you like? So if you're going to try and stop Nathan Cleary defensively, what would you throw at him?
I think you just got to cut down his time, and it's about. I feel like in that team, they've got such a good forward pack who lay such a good line for him. Yeah. If you can dominate there and take as much time away from Nath as possible and limit his time and what he can do, because it's like he's got a wand. He just waves it around. He's a big, solid runner of the ball as well, so he's hard to tackle. So, just taking his time away from him, but it is hard to do.
See, we've said this before, and I think this is probably key for Melbourne. if Luai plays or whatever, I think Nick Meaney becomes a very important player in this game, because if I'm Melbourne, I'm double teaming Nathan Cleary because he swings both sides of the ruck. You can see his visual, right? So I'd be setting the long side or wherever Nathan is first, and I'd just leave one-on-one defenders with Cogger or Luai or Edwards and say, OK, if you're going to beat me, you beat me, as opposed to letting Nathan have multiple touches, feel like he's swinging that wand around and just cut by cut.
Well, Yoey's pretty big for them as well. Isaiah, he's a big reason. He puts Nath over the advantage line and gets him to the 4-man, 3-man, wherever he needs to. But he pulls the trigger when he needs to, you know what I mean? Like, if it's not on for Yoey, he'll just dig it in, get a quick play of the ball, and then Nath takes off of the back of that.
And the one thing I didn't like, and I don't know if this is the same for you, Mitch, is that when you come into a game, a big game, you're prepared with an inch of life, you know what the other defence is going to do. Then all of a sudden they throw this another thing you haven't seen all week. It takes you 15, 20 minutes to work out what they're doing before you get a handle on it. So, like, I know Nathan watches a lot of videos, so if he sees, like, just stationary defenders all the time, he's going to pick you apart.
Absolutely.
So I think some rushing defence, then some backing off defence, rushing, like, mix it up a little
yourself,
bit.
Don't you? When you go into a game and there's certain teams you don't like playing against, because they'll take a chance and they'll rush you, they'll come at you outside in. When you watch a tape and you're playing against a side that's a passive defensive line, it's just like, and then you see Nathan, like you said before, like he builds his game so well, shaping, dropping off on the inside, dropping off. Then he starts to do the mirror image that, that's really, that's come into his game a lot in the back half of this year.
I feel like even that try score on the other week, his pace, I didn't think it was that quick. Like, he just took off, and I feel like that's really coming into his game a bit. He's not, like, he's picking the time when to play slow and then when to just take off and get to a defender and create the overlap.
The example of, like, some rushing and passive defence is someone like Justin Olam, right? So, like, early on in the game, just launch, just go and take him, like, wipe him out, legally, of course. But then the next one, don't, sit back. Then the next one, wipe, go out and then come back. Because that, as a halfback, throws you off because you don't know what's coming. You rather know what's coming with,
especially when it's someone like Olam. He's coming from 3 or 4 defenders outside. You can't see him at all.
You feel like, you're giving balls to your centre and they're just getting jammed. Oh, God, I'm sorry, mate. That's all good. The 5th time, sorry again, mate.
That is you, not me.